When we learn English, words are like keys. They open the door to understanding. But how do we remember these keys? How do we make them stay in our minds? Today I want to talk about how you can remember words and improve your English. When I was young, I did not know many English words. I would hear words in songs on TV or in books, and they seemed so big and hard to remember. I tried to memorize them by looking at them again and again, but they would slip away. One day I asked my teacher, "How can I remember these words?" She smiled and said, "The secret is in using them, not just seeing them." Using words is like planting seeds. When you use a word in a sentence, it grows roots in your mind. The more you use it, the deeper the roots go. My teacher told me, if you want a word to stay, use it in your daily life. So I started doing that. I used new words when I talked to my friends, when I wrote in my journal, and even when I was thinking alone. One day I learned the word beautiful. I loved the sound of it. I would say the sky is beautiful or your smile is beautiful each time I said it. The word became clearer in my mind. Soon, I could never forget it. This is how I learned that using words helps you remember them. Another way to remember words is to listen to them often. Listening is like watering a plant. When you hear a word many times, it starts to feel familiar. Think about how you learned the word hello. You heard it so often that it became easy. The same can happen with any word. You just need to listen to it in songs, stories, or conversations. One of my favorite memories is when I first learned the word adventure. I heard it in a story about a boy who traveled far and faced many challenges. The word adventure stuck with me because the story was exciting. I kept thinking about it, and soon I was using adventure in my own stories. This made me remember it forever. Reading is another powerful way to remember words. When you read, you see words in action. You see how they fit into sentences, how they connect with other words. Reading is like walking through a garden full of words. Every word you read is like picking a flower. The more flowers you pick, the more beautiful your garden becomes. I remember reading a book where I first saw the word friendship. It was a story about two girls who helped each other through hard times. The word friendship was used many times, and it made me think about my own friends. I loved the word so much that I started using it with my friends. Soon, friendship became one of my favorite words. Another way to remember words is to connect them with your own life. When a word has a special meaning to you, it is easier to remember. For example, the word family is one that I will never forget because it reminds me of the people I love most. Whenever I hear family, I think of my parents, my siblings, and all the happy times we shared. This connection helps the word stay in my mind. There was a time when I struggled to remember the word courage. It seemed like a hard word at first. But then I thought about a time when I was afraid to speak in front of my class. I remembered how I took a deep breath and did it anyway. That was courage. By linking the word to my own experience, I could remember it easily. Making a word part of your routine is also helpful. When a word becomes a regular part of your day, it stays with you. I once learned the word practice. My teacher told me that practice makes perfect. I started saying this to myself every time I studied. Soon the word practice became a part of my daily life. I would remind myself to practice speaking English, practice writing, and practice listening. Quotes can also help you remember words. A quote is like a small lesson in a few words. I once came across a quote that said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." The word journey stood out to me. I thought about how learning English is like a journey. Each word you learn is a step forward. This quote made the word journey special to me, and I never forgot it. Sometimes learning a word can be fun if you turn it into a game. I remember playing a game where we had to match words with their meanings. One of the words was challenge. I had to think hard, but I found the right meaning. Because I played the game, the word challenge stayed with me. Games make learning feel like play, and when you enjoy something, you remember it better. Another memory I have is when I first learned the word hope. It was during a tough time in my life, and someone told me, "Never lose hope." The word hope became a light in the darkness for me. I kept it close to my heart, and because it meant so much, I could never forget it. To remember words, it also helps to write them down. Writing is like drawing a map in your mind. When you write a word, you trace its path, and it becomes easier to find later. I used to keep a small notebook where I wrote down new words. Every day I would open my notebook and look at the words I wrote. This helped me remember them, and soon I didn't need to look at the notebook anymore. Another thing that helped me was repeating words out loud. Speaking a word is like hearing it from your own voice. It makes the word feel real. I remember practicing the word success. I would say it over and over again until it felt natural. Repeating the word made it stick in my mind. You can also learn words by associating them with pictures. Our minds love images, and when you connect a word to a picture, it becomes easier to remember. I once learned the word ocean. I imagined a big blue ocean in my mind every time I said the word. This picture helped me remember the word forever. Songs are another great way to remember words. Music has a way of making words stick. I still remember the first time I learned the word dream. It was in a song about chasing your dreams. The melody made the word dream unforgettable for me. Now, every time I hear that song, I think of the word and what it means. When you want to remember words, it's also important to be patient with yourself. Learning takes time, and it's okay if you don't remember a word right away. I remember struggling with the word determination. It took me a long time to remember it because it was so long. But I kept trying, and eventually the word stayed in my mind. Another way to help remember words is to teach them to someone else. When you explain a word to someone, you understand it better yourself. I remember teaching my younger sister the word kindness. I told her that being kind means helping others and being good to people. As I taught her, I found that the word kindness became clearer in my own mind. Sometimes you can remember a word by making a story around it. Stories make words come alive. I once learned the word bravery by imagining a knight who fought a dragon. The knight showed bravery, and that story made the word easy to remember. A memory that stands out for me is when I first learned the word joy. It was during a holiday with my family. We were all together, laughing and having fun. The word joy was used to describe that happy time. Now, every time I hear joy, I think of that holiday and the smiles on everyone's faces. To make words stick, it's also helpful to use them in different ways. Say the word, write it, read it, and listen to it. The more ways you use a word, the more likely it is to stay with you. I did this with the word respect. I would say it to my friends, write about it in my journal, and listen for it in conversations. Soon, the word respect became a part of who I am. Learning words can also be easier when you learn with friends. When you study with someone else, you can practice together and help each other remember words. I remember learning the word teamwork with my friends. We all worked together on a project, and we kept saying the word teamwork as we helped each other. This made the word unforgettable for all of us. One day I learned the word patience when I was waiting for something important. I was nervous and wanted things to happen quickly, but someone told me, patience is a virtue. That made me think about how waiting can be good sometimes. The word patience became a reminder to stay calm and wait for the right time. Sometimes a word can stay with you because of a special person. I remember learning the word wisdom from my grandmother. She was a wise woman who gave me good advice. Every time I hear the word wisdom, I think of her and the lessons she taught me. This connection makes the word unforgettable. Another powerful way to remember words is through repetition. Repetition is the mother of learning. The more you repeat a word, the more it becomes a part of you. I did this with the word strength. I would say it every morning, reminding myself to be strong. Soon the word strength became a part of my daily thoughts. When you want to remember a word, try to find a word that sounds similar in your own language. This can make the word easier to remember. I once learned the word harmony. It reminded me of a word in my own language that meant peace. This connection helped me remember the word harmony without much effort. Lastly, it's important to have fun with words. Learning should not be a chore. I remember learning the word celebrate during a party. We were all happy and singing, and someone said, "Let's celebrate the joy of that moment." Made the word celebrate stay in my mind forever. As we continue this journey of learning English, remember that words are your friends. The more you use them, the more they will stay with you. They are like treasures that you collect over time. Each word you learn is a step closer to mastering the language. So keep learning, keep using, and keep enjoying the beauty of words. Let's keep this journey going.